bracelet, but diamond everywhere else, I think it's like 200K, maybe 190. You know, they're just, hexagons are rich, man, rich. And why? Why is that? Where does the money come from? You want to know where the money comes from? You ready? I'm going to tell you the big secret. Here comes the big secret. I'm going to tell you why all the hexagons get to be rich. Because the biggest, wealthiest people in cryptocurrency that have the most money also have the longest time preference, and they're willing to delay gratification the longest. So there's a guy today that just put in $10 million of Ethereum. 10 million? 20 million. It was 10,000 Ethereum, which is $20 million. He just sacrificed that today into the sacrifice phase to get points, which will be airdropped free pulse when it comes out, the Ethereum fork. So, and it's really to make a political statement that you support free speech. It's a protected human right, and blockchains are speech. And lucky you also get some free points, and you'll get these free tokens. Glad you're, making political statements with your funds. So this guy, if you look at his account and you look up his address, he's also bought tons of hex, and he's also staked tons of hex. And this guy had Ethereum back from the Genesis sale, and he has 100,000 Ethereum. I guess he's got 10,000 less now that, he just sacrificed 10,000 of it. Now, because this gentleman has invested so heavily and purchased so much hex and locked it for 15 years, he is waiting for a much larger reward in the future. And everyone else that has a shorter time preference now gets to benefit from his delayed gratification. And so when you see hexagons buying Rolexes and stuff, this god whale, I call him, and I think there's a couple of them, because I've seen two guys that have put in just tons and tons of money. We also got a sacrifice for $10,000 or 11 million. I think it was 11.1 million USDC, and just a single guy. So I think those are the leaderboard of like the top two sacrificers right now. Now, I don't think the 11.1 million guy ever bought hex before.
You're talking about Pulse now, a new thing.
Well, they're kind of related, right? Because it's the same, like, I see the address. So like this guy that just put in 11.1 million of USDC, I don't think he has that much hex in his account. But this guy that put in 10,000 ETH just a few hours ago, this guy's got a lot of hex in his account. And so if you go to the hex trading room, t.me/hex trading, those guys eyeball every single transaction. And when someone ends their stake, they have an idea whether that guy's going to dump it or just restake it, because they look at his history and they go, okay, when this guy's stakes end, does he usually dump them or does he usually restake them? And then they're watching the Godwhale accounts with the giants.
Can I get into why I just don't think that, like, I think it's all just still smoke and mirrors, and a lot of people at the moment are saying,
go ahead.
Okay, a lot of people are saying, we're number 3 on CoinMarketCap, but these other sites aren't showing us, and all these kind of things.
We're 201 forever.
Before I dive into it, what's your understanding of realized market cap and that kind of thing?
Oh, that doesn't exist. That's not a thing. So, okay, hey man, what happens if everybody sells their house at once? It goes to zero. Okay, what if everybody sells their car at once? It goes to zero. What if everybody sells all their anything at once? What if everybody sells all their dollars at once? It goes to zero. So this concept of ignoring probabilistic outcomes and just saying, hey, what if everyone sells everything at once? It's really stupid. So it doesn't make any sense. What matters is what you can actually sell for right now. And I'll tell you what the slippage is in Hex. If you go to 1inch.io, which spreads your order across all the order books, is what you definitely should do. I don't care what you're trading. If you're trading anything in the Ethereum network, you should be doing it at 1inch.io or matcha.xyz, because you're going to get way better order execution. You're going to make way more money. You're going to save a lot of money. So if you go to if you go to 1inch.io and you type in Hex and you see how much you can dump it for, you want to dump your Hex, you want to dump it for USDC. If you were to dump $1 million of Hex, you're going to get 3% slippage. It's awesome. It's great. If you want to buy it, you're going to get 3% slippage. It's awesome. It's great. And the funny thing is, the higher the price goes, the lower the slippage gets, because the price is a function of how much liquidity is there, because it's a ratio, because the majority of the liquidity is on Uniswap v2. So the only way that the price actually goes up when the majority of your trading is on Uniswap v2 is if the ratio of the ERC20 is going down versus its trading pair, which in Hex is majority USDC. So the majority of liquidity for Hex is the USDC stablecoin. Only 15%. So if I want
to sell $10 million.
Yeah, who's market selling $10 million? If you're gonna perform a $10 million sell, I suggest you be the liquidity and get a better deal by using a limit order than trying to eat someone else's liquidity and eat a lot of slippage. So if you want to get out, you be the liquidity and get out. Don't market sell 10 million and get beat up. I mean, you probably get 10% slippage. My guess on a 10 million sell. We'll go look it up. Let's go look it up.
That's what I'm looking up right now. And the point I want to get to is that you're claiming that you're number 3, but if you go and have a look at these metrics, like you know your 24-hour volume and all that is off everything above and below it, similar size by a factor of 100 to 1,000, and that's what I'm trying to get into.
You realize that those numbers are very visible and obvious. They're right next to the other numbers that you're talking about. So you're pretending that there's some type of hidden information, but it's not hidden. It's literally right there. It shows market cap, and then it shows volume.
That's not the information that's hidden.
Right next to them.
That's not the information that's hidden. If you let me get to the second and third order things, these are the things that people don't think critically about. And so when there's only this tiny little fraction of 1%, if that, between 1% and 0.1% actually being traded, and then you extrapolate the price that it's trading at and say that this is the market cap, the fact is that it's not. And it's not.
No,
I agree.
You're
if
wrong.
everyone tries to sell house or cars and it goes to zero,
you're wrong.
That's irrelevant.
Listen, you're wrong, and I will get your point across for you. Okay, the point that Alex here is trying to make.
Are you gonna let me finish?
Yeah, I'm gonna make your point for you, and you're gonna be proud of it. Watch, I'm gonna make your point for you, and you're gonna be proud that I phrased it so well. The point that Alex is trying to make is that our market cap, although it is the third highest, has other parameters next to it that are very different from other coins at similar market caps. The trading volume is extremely lower. The slippage is higher. Your ability to enter or exit a position is smaller. You're going to eat more slippage, right? Have I properly represented what you're trying to tell everybody?
No.
No? Okay. Good.
So all those metrics are a factor of 100 or 1,000 lower than comparable coins, like you just said.
Yep, that's right.
Here's the but. When people try to sell all their houses, all their cars, and it goes to zero, if people try to sell all their Bitcoin, it's going to zero. I agree with that. But we have to allow for a reasonable number of people, like fair market, to be able to buy and sell and realize the price if they want to.
Yep.
And the problem with Hex is that it's advertising or coming across as these, everyone has made this much money, it's up this much percent.
It's not. Yes, it is advertising that.
The data is, the numbers, that's true, sure. But if any meaningful number of people between 1% and 0.1% of people try to sell, the price is going to collapse towards zero.
No.
Because
what you're saying is not true.
Between 1% and 0.1% of the volume, the actual trading, the market depth. And so 99.9% of people think that they have this amount of money, but if anyone tries to realize that, it's going to zero. And that's the math.
Let's play. No, it's not the math. Okay, I know the math because it's on the chart. It's public. No, that's your fantasy theory. Okay, the reality is on the chart.
The numbers. There's $50 million of daily volume, and you're claiming that it's a $50 billion coin.
I'm going to educate you.
0.1% of people try to sell, it's going to zero.
I'm going to educate you. You're going to learn some things on this call. I'm going to make you smarter, and you're going to be able to make more money. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay. Were you there when Bitcoin was started? When it was founded? Like when did you get into Bitcoin? 2012? Yeah. Nice. I got into 2011, first quarter. I mined full blocks on my own, no pull. Me and my computer, video cards, mining full blocks on my own, 50 BTC block reward, no pool. Back then, you didn't even have to include a fee. Okay?
I know. Yeah.
Do you wish that you bought in 2011? Or 2012?
Sure, who wouldn't?
Well, the price went up a lot. I think 2011 was a better deal. The price was probably 10x different. Yeah. Now, when do you think was the most profitable time to buy Bitcoin?
Well, the earlier the better, isn't it?
Yeah. And do you know what other parameters earlier had? The lowest liquidity, the most slippage. Satoshi owned 100% of the coins. The best time in the world to have bought Bitcoin was when Satoshi owned all the coins, there was no liquidity, there was tons of slippage, and there was no volume. Well, isn't that interesting? Huh. So you're accusing Hex of having the same parameters that Bitcoin had when that was the best time to buy it.
No,
Interesting.
That's not the comparable.
It is that comparable. You just don't realize it. You think you're smarter than the market. Your understanding is what caused you to miss a 380,000% run up. I was right. My design was right. Hex was right. You are wrecked. You think that you're smart, but you don't learn from your mistakes. You should have bought Hex and made 380,000% return, but instead you thought you were smarter than the market. You're not. The market's smarter than you.
No. Okay, here's the problem. So two things that you've got wrong there. Bitcoin had those comparables, but at all times you had the ability to sell and realize if you want. It was a free market at all times.
Bullshit. I was there. There was one place in the whole fucking planet to buy called Mt. Gox. I know because I fucking bought there. I made the $30 fucking top. There was no fucking other place to sell. It was just Mt. Gox. And guess what? Their fucking shit went down. What are you going to do when it went down? You know how many people lost their coins in Mt. Gox? 200,000 Bitcoin is sitting there still. They nuked 60,000 and sold it on market in 2018.
What's that got to do with my point that anyone?
Your point is that you could get out whenever you wanted. No, you couldn't. No, you fucking couldn't. There was no decentralized exchanges. There was no exchange where you could trade without AML KYC. The vast majority of Hex trading has no AML KYC. It's on decentralized exchanges where you can't lose your money. It's a superior system to what Bitcoin had when it launched. Hex trading is vastly, infinitely superior to what Bitcoin had for decades, if not now. If not fucking now. You want to get into a stable coin out of Bitcoin? Tell me what you're going to do. What are you going to do? You want to get out of Bitcoin into a stable coin? What are you going to do now, today? You're going to suck middleman dick, is what you're going to do. You are going to suck middleman dick to turn your Bitcoin into a stable coin. Now let's look at Hex. You want to get out of Hex into a stable coin? Do you got to suck middleman dick?
If I want to get out of a Bitcoin right now, I go and use Thorchain or I wrap it and I go to
Thorchain just got hacked. How's that, bro? Thorchain just got hacked for $24 million. What's up?
I go use Republic Protocol. I go use...
You just advertised a protocol that was hacked for $24 million 2 days ago. You just did that.
And they fixed it. It has a bug. You can go and wrap your Bitcoin. You can go and use a...
Oh, yeah? Tell me about wrap Bitcoin, yeah? Who's your counterparty when you wrap Bitcoin, bro? Who's your counterparty?
You can use
BitGo
Bitcoin without going to BitGo.
Bullshit.
Through balance pools and synthetics.
Nope. I don't think so, bro.
Yes, you can.
Nope.
But let me get back to my original point.
Hex is better than Bitcoin today, and it's way better than Bitcoin was 10 years ago, but you just don't realize it.
My point was that anyone that had coins was able to move them or try to sell them and move them to sell them if they wanted to.
So who are these people in Hex that are fucked that you're talking about?
Let me finish my point. 99% of Hex coins are locked up or they can't be sold.
No, they're not. You're retarded.
They tried to sell, the price collapsed as soon as 1% or 0.1% of people try to sell.
No, you're retarded and wrong, and the numbers you're quoting are literally wrong. 90% are liquid, 10% are staked. What the fuck are you talking about? Why don't you go to hex.vision and go look at the fucking chart? 90% are liquid, 10% are staked. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You just literally quoted the shit backwards. You just said
99% of coins aren't being traded in the 24-hour volume each day compared to Bitcoin and those others around
let's talk about volume.
Those high ratios.
Let's talk about volume. Do you make money on volume?
What do you mean by that? Do I make
money
on volume?
Alex Saunders, make money on volume? When you look at the volume chart and it goes up, do you make more money?
You need a healthy market needs volume in terms.
Yo, dog, this is not a hard question. I'm just asking you if you can make money on volume or not. You personally, whatever shit you're holding, when it has more volume, do you make more money?
Indirectly, you don't want to invest in something that has no volume and liquidity. No.
You dodged the question twice. That's badass, bro. How many times are you going to dodge that?